Hi everyone, welcome to a new Stanley parable. So the beginning of it did change. That's a shame. Hope your week's been well. Let's just get straight onto the game.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Right.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Let's see what's down here. Careful before we bend down here.
But
I feel like
Stanley
we
just
have.
couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during
Oh yeah,
work hours.
we've been
He
down
might
here.
be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made...
Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. Got that.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by
Anyone
the
who can
employee
hear
lounge
that
first,
growling in the
just to
background,
admire
that's
it.
just my cats. So just ignore it. It's fine.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh, I've got the feeling money's for stealing, but not yours, of course. So that's a lovely purse. Sorry, 2 seconds. My cat's just... Okay. What else can we do here? Can we go into here? Oh. This is a new area we haven't seen yet. Let's go down. Wonder where this is going to take us. Oh, what? I didn't go anywhere. Okay, what happens if we go up? I don't think this elevator goes anywhere. Okay.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible
Get what
truth
the number
that his
is.
boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
Oh, I
But
was
of
so
course,
close.
Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest.
Alright guys, I've decided that I am going to go down the escape hall, even though we're apparently going to meet our
when for years it had never
violent death.
This
But
question would not go
let's see if it
unanswered
happens.
for long.
Well, let's see what happens, I should say.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Okay.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led
Oh.
helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Okie dokie.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
As this is the outline of the office. What's it say? The blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the two doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development through the core layout, though the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. Yeah. Go in your next office. New content. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the two doors in a good time. I guess it would make a difference depending on how long or short the corridor is. Two doors. The set of the two open doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. What's this one? Filing cabinets. Are they important? They have to be if they're here. Office computers. I've seen that one. I haven't seen the Voltaire. And I haven't seen that one either. That's interesting. The office. Button sounds. A selection of the sounds used throughout the game where buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and a synthesized tone. I like number 4 best, I think. What do you guys think? Comment down below. What's this? Artwork, designs, so it's the credits. Kevin Brighting as the narrator. Kevin. I call you Kevin instead of David then. No, I might stick to David. I know. What does everyone else think? Should we change David to Kevin, since the voice actor's name is Kevin? Boss's office. Only version of the underground portion of the game. Escape. Oh, it's different. Just gonna quickly check over here. Freedom ending. Through time, the elevator in the monster room could go up or down, with freedom above and countdown below. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down, and placed the 2 endings together instead. Early version of the countdown room. Right. This is the level that William, the level designer, sent Davey, the writer, as the kind of audition piece. The strength of this level got William hired to design the full game. Though much of the environment has changed, the basic layout from this mock-up is still in the game. Oh. That's pretty cool. Wish I knew how to, make games and stuff. Stanley's office. No, Diego. You've already had breakfast. Sorry, my cat's just telling me that he's hungry and wants food.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game.
Diego!
As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Oh dear. Alright, and I am back to Stanley's office.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Yippee.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no
Trying
one
to
gets
get
to
that
tell him what to
input
do,
thing
Stanley left
back
from the platform and
onto the
plunged into
computers.
space. Good job, Stanley.
And I don't think it
Everyone
worked
thinks
with
you are
me
very powerful.
restarting the game by myself. I think it needs to just naturally restart. So I'll give
All
that
of
a
his
try.
co-workers were gone.
See if
What could it
it's
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting
done
room.
something.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hopefully. No. Perhaps not.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Come on, David.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
That's just not working.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime. a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about— What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy. Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Alright guys, I might leave it here. Sorry it's such a short video. We have unlocked a new portion that we haven't seen before, which is really exciting. But we'll see if that has changed anything, hopefully in the next game. Yeah. I hope everyone's week and day is going well, and I will see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.